Hey everyone, it's your girl Joanna and welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a really simple makeup tutorial. I mean, I guess I wouldn't really say simple. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, so I decided to do kind of like a basic neutral glam. I wanted something bronzy, something a bit smoky. I used a mixture of like high-end and drugstore makeup. And also, if anyone's interested in how I did my hair today, how I got this like very voluminous, bouncy kind of hair, I have a tutorial for that where I just use hot rollers. It will be in the description box down below if you want to see that. I think this is like a really cute date night kind of look. So if you guys want to know how I got this, then keep on watching. Where to start? So I always do my brows first. I've been absolutely obsessed with this new brow product from Anastasia. It's their Brow Freeze Brow Styling Wax. This shit is so good. I'm just using a disposable spoolie. You can buy like a large pack of these on like Amazon or find them at Walmart or Target or something. When I first saw this, I was like, this is kind of expensive for this amount of product. But ever since using this, I've learned that a little goes a long way with this. I don't have like super thick brows, but my brows are pretty thick. I feel like when it comes to Asian brows, our eyebrow hair tend to like grow straight down and it's kind of hard to like keep it up, especially if you're trying to do the feather brows. But look at that. Look at that. That was pretty damn easy, and this actually keeps my brows staying up all day. I know some people are like, oh, you can literally just do this with soap, which is true, but from my own experience, soap didn't work the best with my eyebrow hair, and I've tried multiple types of soap. It kind of leaves it kind of crusty-ish. It doesn't hold up my eyebrow hair for like the longest time compared to like this. I mean, look how easy this is to just brush it up and it stays up. Looking a little crazy. We look like little Wolverines. As always, I use this Glossier Browflick. Okay, I only go in the areas where I feel like I need it. So this area right here is a little sparse. I go in with like such a light hand. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little closer so you can see. I personally feel like I've gotten pretty good at doing my brows where I don't feel like I need to clean with concealer. I feel like I haven't like cleaned under my brows in such a long time. Just a little bit in the front. And that right there, folks, is a brow. I'm gonna do my face makeup. Priming with the EmCosmetics Jelly Pop Dew Primer. I feel like this primer is slept on, honestly. This primer from EmCosmetics feels a bit hydrating. And it also leaves like a nice slight tackiness, and I feel like that tackiness really grabs onto the foundation when I apply it. It's also a plus that it's so affordable. Now this isn't as affordable as the last product, but I've been testing this out and I kind of like it. It's the LauraMercier Illuminating Eye Cream. It's gonna apply a little bit under my eyes with the brush because my nails are too long for this shit. I'm just like dabbing a little bit under here. Just gonna be like a nice base for my concealer while also trying to illuminate it. Just want to really like press that in. A very underrated foundation that I feel like no one really talks about is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Foundation. Yeah, I'm using the shade Medium 80W. I think 2 pumps is enough. I'm gonna use this beauty sponge. It's pretty good. I honestly don't really remember where it's from. I will figure it out and I will put it in the description below. The reason why I really like this foundation is because it actually feels hydrating. I tend to only use like 1 layer. I feel like this perfectly matches my skin tone. There aren't a lot of foundations that do like olive undertones because I feel like that's what I am. So it's kind of hard finding my shade. But look at that, it looks like skin. The foundation does all right around my nose, honestly. There's not even a handful of foundations I can think of that stays on my nose, but I finally found a way to make the foundation around my nose work. But I'll show you that in a bit because that's another step. Since I'm using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation, I figured I'll use the concealer as well. This is in the shade Light 45W. A little goes a long way with this concealer. I'm just gonna apply a dot here, a little bit here, I'm gonna put this on the T-zone of my face as well because this concealer doesn't really dry down that quickly. I'm actually gonna use a Japanese brush number 712 to blend this out. I'm gonna like bring the concealer up a little bit here. That way it gives me more snatched look. When it comes to blending out on my nose, I tend to kind of dab very lightly. That way that concealer just pretty much stays in the center of my nose, making it look more slimmer. I do like to go back in with the sponge, no extra product, and just kind of like dab it in. That way it blends in even more. And I'm like using the tip of this sponge. It kind of has like this angle to it. Okay, don't mind my hair, I had to reclip it because I needed to get it out of my face. But I always use this. This is the TanTour from HudaBeauty. It's a cream contour. This is in the shade Light. I'm using a different brush. I normally don't use this one, but this is the Morphe E8. When it comes to my contour and my blush, I've been going higher. I used to go a little lower, like right here, but I'm bringing it higher now. I'm holding it at the end of the brush. That way it gives me a lighter hand. I am going strong with the cream bronzer, but that's only because I'm gonna put powder over it and that's going to lighten it up. Look at that. I honestly love contouring. I think it's one of my favorite part of doing makeup. Putting this onto the sides of my face, around my forehead. That way it looks more even out and cohesive. I actually don't cream contour around the nose. I just use like regular powder because I don't want it to look super intense. And then a little on the jawline. Around this section right here, I do bring it up a little higher and then I swoop under. That way it makes my chin look a little bit more smaller, I guess, a little bit more sharper. Applying it right here kind of gives it that illusion of a different shaped chin. I really like to let all the cream and liquid products that I use on my face to just settle into my skin and dry down a little bit before I go in with some powder. That way when I apply any kind of powder to my face, it's less likely for it to move around. Set my face using an OG product, LauraMercier Transluscent powder, and the little puff pad thingy it comes with. You know what's crazy? I feel like a lot of people stopped using the LauraMercier Translucent powder. I never hopped on the train of it a couple years back because it was so popular, but I just started getting into it and I love it. I have pretty dry skin and I like that this powder doesn't make me feel like it's sucking the hydration out of my skin. I personally don't feel like I need to use a lot. I go in a little at a time with the puff pad thingy. Just kind of lightly apply this all over my face, just pushing it in, just basically dabbing it in. Don't really bake anymore because that shit makes my skin feel really dry. This just smooths out the skin so much. I know this looks like a lot, but it's really not. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it kind of just lightens up the areas that I contoured a bit. I'm just making sure the concealer under my eyes aren't super creased, so I'm just like blending that out a little bit. Then I'm just applying the powder under the eyes, just pressing that in. So the only area I didn't apply the LauraMercier powder is the sides of my nose, and that is where the liquid foundation tend to not stick on my face. So what I like to use is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. This is in the shade Y245, and I'm just gonna actually use the sponge that it comes with, dabbing a little bit of it, and I am pressing this onto my nose, just like the tip of it and the side of it. And this pretty much gives me the coverage that I need while also setting it. One of my favorite products to use to bronze up the skin is the Milani Baked Bronzer. This is in the shade number 5. I'm using this Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush, number 5, just a little bit. Okay, it does have little specks of like shimmer to it, but it's not super glittery. Just sweeping it around the areas that I contoured.
Hello.
Hi! In the middle of filming.
Wow.
Hi, you wanna say hi?
What up? Just got here. You're most like delicate.
How you kiss when you have makeup on. Hi, I'm so excited. Oh, you threw her butt in my face. I'm just gonna use, okay, just the tiniest bit of this bronzer to very lightly contour the sides of my nose. Everyone contours their nose differently. I'm just pretty much following the natural shape of my nose. So nothing crazy. To add a little bit of color to the cheeks, I love the EmCosmetics HeavensGlow Faded Clementine. I'm not exactly sure how to describe this, but it doesn't only give me color, but it gives a really beautiful glow to the skin as well. The shade in particular kind of has like this peachy orangey kind of color to it, and I feel like those colors are nice to kind of give a more bronzy kind of look to the skin. I'm applying it on my cheekbones a little higher up. Like I said, I've been applying things a bit higher, that way it gives my face a more slimmed look. It's a little bit more than I normally would, but we want our makeup to last all night, if you know what I mean. It's a date night makeup. Sometimes then the night ends in another way, you know?
Oh, I know.
I haven't used this in so long, but I forgot how good it was. The Pixibeauty Gossamer Duo in Subtle Sunshine. I like using both, but I'm just gonna go with this one. Sweep it onto the high points of my cheekbones, a little on the temples of my forehead. And I'm just gonna use my finger very delicately, apply this to the tip of my nose and the bridge. Gives it a little bit of that button effect. Brought you in a little closer to show you the eye makeup. I'm just gonna use the ColourPop concealer to prime my eyes. A little, just a little bit. I'm using the Snap Shadows from FentyBeauty #1 and #3. They're like attached to each other. I'm starting out with #3 first. I'm using this shade right here as a transition shade. The brush I'm using is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill #35. And I'm just going to focus on the outer edge. I'm kind of just like lightly flicking it outwards and very lightly bringing it towards the middle. Okay, the next shade I'm taking is this kind of like really deep brown. I'm using this EmCosmetics crease brush. I'm really just gonna focus this right onto the outer corner of my eyes, and I'm just kind of dapping it in first before I start blending it out. Just kind of make sure I get that color really where I want it. You use dark eyeshadow, it gets a little bit intimidating because it can just start looking like you got punched in the eye very quickly. Okay, again, holding it at the end, I am very lightly blending at the edges. Okay, and if you feel like you need to add a little bit more of that eyeshadow, then go for it. I am gonna go back in a little bit with that lighter brown shade, just a little bit of product, you don't need a lot. Very lightly kind of go over it again because it kind of got washed out a little bit. And now using the One Snap Shadow, I'm just gonna use this very light shade right here. I'm just gonna apply this to the inner corner of my eyes. That way it kind of just like really brightens it up. Brighten it up. If you don't have a light shade like this, you can honestly just use like a translucent powder. Okay, taking the brush I used for the darker shade, I'm just going to kind of blend it in together. And I'm not using any extra eyeshadow either. With this kind of eye look, I feel like you need false lashes. One of the ways I really like to blend in false lashes with my real lashes is lining my eyes, and I'm just gonna use the deep brown shade again. And I'm using this ElfCosmetics small angled brush. These brushes, I think they're literally like $1, honestly. They're like $1 each, or $2. Regardless, I know it's like less than $3. Softly line my eyes. Very, very, very close to the lash line. I always like to do a little mascara first before applying false lashes. I'm using This one's a little bit fancy, this Lancome Idol Lash Mascara. I got this for free at Ulta for my birthday. And I actually really like this mascara, it's pretty good. I honestly don't even put on a lot of mascara, just enough for it to kind of attach itself to the false lash. This is my first time trying out lashes from BHcosmetics, but I got sent over these for their Lunar New Year edition. And these look really good. This is in Dynasty Diva. I don't know why that name's so funny to me, Dynasty Diva. For putting on lashes, I'm using this this thing came off of it, okay. I'm using the FentyBeauty Diamond Balm in How Many Carats. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow topper. I mean, you can use it all over your body, which looks really great, but I honestly love using it specifically over eyeshadow because it just gives it the perfect amount of like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna use my ring finger and I'm only just gonna apply this to the lighter area of my eye. Just a dab of it. It's so subtle, but I think it's so pretty. Because I feel like when the light hits it, it's just kind of like magical. And now I'm putting on lashes. Let it dry down, get a little tacky. Apply it as close to the lash line as possible. I'm using a black eye pencil to put on my top waterline. That way it blends my fake and real lashes together. I'm using the one from Maybelline, the Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencil. This one's really good. It's like super easy to glide on. Finishing under the eyes using that deep brown. And I'm only going to apply this deep shade halfway to my eyes. I feel like doing that kind of like will make my eye look a little bit bigger compared to just doing it all the way. And then lightly kind of smudge it out with a fluffy brush. Highlighting the inner corner with the highlight that we use on the face. And I'm just gonna do lightly on the brow bone as well. I don't have any lip product on just yet, but I just want to give you guys a closer look of the eyes. Okay, so you can see like the really pretty shimmery sparkle from the FentyBeauty Diamond Balm. For the lips, I feel like I use this every single time, but I don't care. I really like using it. It's the KKWBeauty Lip Liner in Nude 2.5. It's a bit dark, kind of like a brown shade. I'm just gonna simply line my lips with it. I'm mostly gonna just fill it in the corners. I found a new EmCosmetics Soft Matte Lip Cream color that I've absolutely been loving. It's in the shade Cape Town, and I'm gonna use this all over my lips. This is gonna kind of give me like an ombre effect to my lips. It's been a while since I've used setting spray, but I wanted to try this out, the Makeup Forever Light Velvet Air. So this is the end result. I was gonna go for something a little bit more simple, but it ended up being a little bit more glam than I wanted it to be, but I'm not mad about it. Like I said in the beginning, if you guys also want a tutorial on how I did my hair, I do have a specific video for it. I'll link that down below. I just use hot rollers, really simple. I'm obsessed with this look. It's kind of like this really bronzy, kind of smoky eye. I just love the little hint of shimmer or glitter, you can say, on the eyes. Hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. If you want to see more, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like it. But yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Bye!